What I think I'm gonna do for the thumbnail for this video is that the long one that I actually liked, which is called Gatekeeper's Bride or Persephone if you're feeling spicy, I'm gonna make that one the big book, and then the two books that I didn't care for that much are gonna be the two smaller books. The first one I didn't care for is called Midnight Angel, and it is Sadness the novel. What's the main character's name again? Naomi. Naomi likes flowers and she is sensitive to touch and she doesn't like it when people touch her. She's also the hated child. People are coming to visit. Those people are friends of her father. They have decided to arrange a marriage for her. The son, his name is Dwayne, he's going to marry Naomi because superior bloodlines and all that, because, it's 1812. Anyway, I don't know why I zeroed in on that year. It still happens now, but anyway. Um, so Naomi has these friends. Their names are Ruth and Kai. Ruth is also in the foster system, like Naomi is. I don't know what happened to her real parents. I probably would have found out if I'd read the entire thing, but I don't fucking know. And Kai also likes her, and I think he's supposed to be the Midnight Angel. This book also has two titles for some reason. My copy says Midnight Angel. On Goodreads, it says Kissed. That's weird. Um, yeah. So Dwayne doesn't want her hanging out with her friends anymore, but she doesn't care. So somehow her parents end up losing custody of her, and Dwayne's family is supposed to take her in, but Kai comes and takes her away, and this book is just sad. The character's just sad. Like, with First Impressions, because it's kind of the same thing with First Impressions. With First Impressions, it was 2-3 chapters of sadness, and then immediate jump to escapism. And I don't think her parents ever came back up in that first book. I don't know if they come back up in the other ones, but in that first one, they never showed back up. So I just, like, it's just Sadness the novel, because Dwayne's there the entire time and Kai's not doing anything to help her, and I don't really care if it's the first in a series. That's boring. I don't like it. Um, Also, like, I get that every type of person deserves representation, and like every type of good person deserves representation in the media. And I understand that there are children who go through the foster system who are who don't have the best experience with it. But that doesn't mean that it's always bad. Why is it used as a sad backstory for our main protagonist? Why does it always have to be that? Like, the only story that I have read where the foster system does not completely fuck over the main protagonist is Sweep. And even then, I have issues with the way that adoption went down. Like, I don't understand why we must cheapen the fact that the foster system is not good by just making it a backstory point and making it something to pity the main character for. Like, in fantasy, when that happens in fantasy, how much more palatable would it be if they lost a family that they like, if they're a foster kid? Because then that means that they've lost their family twice, especially if they lost it to the same cause. Like, in my opinion, that would just be so much more palatable. But I don't know. I'm not trying to speak for foster kids. I'm just saying what I would like to read. I don't know. The book that I actually like is called The Gatekeeper's Bride. This book recently changed its title, and so did one of the sequels that I also have. If you're trying to find it on Google, you can still search The Gatekeeper's Bride and you'll find it, but you might have an easier time if you search Persephone, the Underworld Saga. So that's what it is also called now. The next book is called The Gatekeeper's Son, which is how I noticed that, because that book's title changed to Thanatos. It is by Eva Poehler, and it came out in 2016. Um, so it's really just the story of Persephone, and like, it's just the setup for the Gatekeeper series, because I'm assuming that there's a lot of things that happen in this book that I will understand once I read Thanatos, and but I liked it. There's a huge feminist tones in this book coming from Demeter, which is odd. Usually it comes from Hera, but that's fine. Um, I remembered why I can't read the story of Persephone, even though it's my favorite Greek myth. I just not Persephone. Demeter just annoys the fuck out of me. Like, Persephone would probably listen to her mother more, at least in the version that I've read. She'd probably listen to her mother more if Demeter wasn't so overbearing and, like, terrible. Like, and sometimes it often gets portrayed that Persephone is, like, sad in the underworld, but she's not. She's the goddess of the underworld. Why would she be sad? Like, in this book, she runs away from her mother because she's so overbearing and like doesn't even stay with Hades the entire time. She like goes and helps Cupid and tries to keep Psyche from, I think her name is Psyche, maybe her name is Psyche. I'm gonna call her Psyche. She tries to keep her from like killing herself and stuff like that. Like Persephone's a good person. Demeter, because she lost the only thing in this world that actually loves her and pays attention to her, which is Persephone, she causes winter. Like, your child is not here for them to love only you, because then you end up with people like Ada Lovelace, who, while making great contributions to mathematics, probably could have made some great contributions to literature had she been allowed to have imagination and been allowed to interact with more people than just those that her mother deemed worthy. So, yeah. At the end of the book, though, which I believe is set up for the next book, the city of Troy burns. The backdrop to all of this is the burning of Troy. Persephone and Hades have children, and they, for some reason, the Olympians believe that Hades. I guess what they're trying to say is that he had sex with Persephone while she was pregnant, which is not a good thing for them. So, they like holding court and want to punish him. And like they first like take away the underworld, but then it's like, well, who's gonna watch over the underworld? So they can't do that. So they decide to punish all of his children, which I felt like that was a lot. Um, so Hypnos, Thanatos, Medea, Tisiphone, Alecto, and Melinoe are their children. And they weren't always like that before. They used to be like happy things and stuff like that. But now they punish them, so now they take on more of Hades' features, which mated the Furies, the god of sleep, the god of death, and the goddess of ghosts. But they don't have memories of their past lives except Melinoe. Um, and it was at that point that I decided that Olympians in all forms of literature are always portrayed as obnoxious because they suck. They actually fucking suck. Like, I appreciate the fact that Hera and all of them sometimes had like their own little forms of rebellion because they were women and they didn't like being put down like that. It seems like most religion, I don't have very much knowledge about who wrote the Greek myths, but it seems like most religion is written by men. So I kind of like that they included that little bit. But at the same time, like, Zeus is a dick and thinks with his dick. Um, as far as I'm aware, like once Hercules defeats all of the creatures, he also becomes a massive prick. Like, Poseidon is never mentioned and just seems to live in his own world and is also a massive prick. And like the only one of them that seems to be somewhat humble is Hades. Like, and he's technically not an Olympian. So all of the rest of them, everybody who lives up in the clouds, they all suck. It seems like they do, at least. Ares is just angry. Aphrodite is vain. Athena seems to think that she knows everything because she's like a warrior, like the goddess of wisdom, but like that's turned into her being obnoxious and thinking that she knows everything. And I just, yeah. The last book is Minds of the Minotaur, which means I can stop filming for tonight. But Minds of the Minotaur is the third book in the Companions Quartet. And here's the thing. A lot of the whimsy of this story has kind of worn off for me. I enjoyed Secret of the Sirens. That book was cute. The second one was okay, and this one is even less so okay. Um, I just it's the same it's totally a me thing. It's nothing to do with Julia Golding at all. It's a me problem. It's the same problem that I have with Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire. I zero in on a character that I like, or in Game of Thrones' case, a few characters that I like, and then all I want to do is read their parts. But the stories of each character are interwoven in such a way that if I don't read everything, I'll be missing stuff. And I just personally don't super enjoy books like that, even though I have all five of A Song of Ice and Fire, and I also have uh, Game of Thrones and Philosophy, and I have the history book that the healer guy writes for Tommen. I mean, before it was for Joffrey, and before that it was for their dad, but it ends up being for Tommen. And yeah, so that's a total me thing. It's got nothing to do with the writer of the book. Mines of the Minotaur goes actually underneath Persephone. So yeah, I can stop filming tonight. Yay. Um, artichokes and subscribe.